Guys, Sean, Leslie, Lethal for Dummies. Today I want to try an experiment. DK recently had a video, talking about rifling and engagement, paintball markers, less lethal markers versus firearms. And it's something I've said all along that rifling is pretty much pointless in a less lethal marker because we are not engaging the rifling, as DK stated himself. There are some rounds that do engage the rifling to some degree, actual FSR paintball rounds and probably VXR pepper rounds, because they have a softer skirting on them, they probably puff up a little and do make some engagement, but we don't have any glass barrels to test that. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that all the paintballers out there that have been using FSRs for a long time do realize increased accuracy from it. So they have to be doing something right. But what I wanted to test was, I got my 4-inch, the factory FSC barrel in here. It's a Smoothbore, I believe it's a .690, so it's pretty sloppy for an Hp68. Let me just, oh, you know what? Gotta take the bag out. Actually, you know what? Let's flip you down. All right, that's better. Gives me opportunity to actually see what I'm showing you guys as well. So I'm just gonna pop the detents out of here. So Hp68, a 4-inch factory FSC barrel. What's the best way to do this? Yeah, we'll just drop it in from the end like this. You can see it pretty much just falls right through there. And let me see if I can get my little poker here. It's hard to really tell the light, but honestly, this thing goes through loosey-goosey. What I want to try is to force an Hp68 through a .683 rifled barrel. So you can see this is rifled. There you go, there's a good view there. And when I plop this HP in, you can see it's right there. It's in there. It's not super tight, but I can push it through ever so slightly. I mean, well, more than slightly. It's probably more than you'd actually want to actually have to push your round through, but it's spinning. It's spinning in the rifling. Now, I don't think I'd ever try this with a long barrel. Now, with a short barrel, there is less likelihood of me getting a jam. So I don't have a way to test accuracy, but what I really wanted to test was, this is the closest barrel I have. This is a 5-inch 683 rifled, and this is a 4-inch smoothbore. They aren't barrel for barrel, but I wanted to see the velocity I got on this versus this to see if maybe there was something there to try and force one of these HPs through in some rifling to actually impart physical spin on this. Now, shooting one HP through a 686 rifled or a 687 rifled, you do get some spinning rotational effect, but it's from the air rushing through the fins, and it is inconsistent at best because it's not making physical contact with the rifling. So you imagine this is flying through the barrel, the air is rushing down kind of beside this projectile, and it's imparting some spin, but here's something that a lot of people don't account for is in LL, we're jamming a lot of air down that barrel, and air that's getting in front of this projectile could actually cause turbulence, which affects that rotation. And it can do all kinds of things. Accuracy is a big one, obviously, but let's test how it goes. So first time for me. I have forced things through a lot of barrels, but not necessarily for camera effect here. So, oh, better put my dents back in there. Let's get some stuff off the table here. Glasses first. So the tank's pumped to 3,000. It is 875 PSI as tested in the last few videos. And there is a reason why I'm testing this. It's not just because I want to see, like, can we do this? The other reason is, can I do this? I'd rather even run this as short as possible, without any compensate or anything else. But I also want consistent power. I did bring out a mock suppressor that I can toss on this guy when we're done here, after I've done a few test fires here. So let's see what this guy does. All right, first up's the 4-inch HP68. I have 6 loaded in here. And this isn't necessarily, I wouldn't call this a velocity test. It's more about comparing velocity drop between the two, to see if it's something plausible that we could do. All right, 4-inch HP68s. This thing tucks tight like this. Let me get in here a little closer. $346, and pardon me. Earmuffs. I forgot those short barrels, how loud they are. $336. $338. $336. I'm actually quite impressed with that little short barrel. It's been a very long time. I think I tested this, I don't know, maybe a month ago, doing something else that I can't even remember because the videos kind of just all pile into one. Decent numbers for a 4-inch, that's for sure. I think I got one more in there. 336. All right. I wouldn't call that 4-inch an optimal bore match. Obviously, there's some improvement that could be had comparing it, you know, to something that I'm about to do and jam them through this tight barrel. But this barrel's got about an inch length. Well, it does have an inch length on that barrel. But let's see what it does. Nothing that little ball washing will take care of, but I like to retest. I like to do my videos when I'm doing these comparisons using the same rounds. Doesn't necessarily mean they could be all in all different orders, but if I were to look back and do averages, at least it would be consistent data. All right. Reach is clear before I stick my finger down there. gonna have to switch the D10s over. I'll put these guys in here. These are the printed Wixon D10s. Yes, he does them for the FSC as well. Load this guy up. I'll give you a little look-see so you can see what it looks like. There you go. So, sticks out a little bit, which is the perfect amount to add a mock suppressor, but will the rifling cause enough drag that it will be obvious between these two barrels which one's better? Or will this one actually be better? With some loss, of course. Friction is never good, but in this shorter barrel, the amount of air, volume of air that we're jamming through here, I would hope for a popping effect. But a longer barrel with the same sort of tight bore would not have that effect. That air is, you're gonna run out of air before that round exits the barrel, and obviously you're gonna lose significant velocity. All right, 683 rifled, HP68s. The tank is, we're about 2,200. Let's see what it does. .342. Ooh, that one hurt. That one hurt. That one's good. I think what that's showing is inconsistency in the HP68, because I have quite a mixed batch, and some have been through the ringer and back, some have chips, which can reduce the weight ever so slightly, which will show in my FPS, obviously. .344. .338. .346. You got one more. Nope. All right, well, what did that show us? It is possible to jam those HPs through there. What I can't see though is it physically imparting a spin on them? But let's have a look at these rounds here. Try not to dust them off too much. Just looking to see if I can see any spirals in them. Pretty tough to tell, guys. And if it was obvious, I would show you, but I don't see anything. And for what it's worth, when I push these through, I can physically see them turning in the rifling when I push it through with my dowel. So I can only assume they're actually spinning. I think it would be wise to test these long range. Unfortunately, that's not in the cards at the moment, but what is in the cards is to put these 6 back in there. What I do like, I bet if I average those 6 rounds, the average was better on the rifled barrel, even though it was a little inconsistent. I bet if I actually picked through these rounds in bore size, I bet you I could get them right on the money. And that's not something that a lot of people do. But if I wanted to cheat this test and try and show you guys that yeah, this is the way to do it. I would definitely do that and not tell you, but I don't do stuff like that, guys. I just, for the most part, I just grab them out of the bucket and away we go. Except, you know what I said about grabbing them out of the trap. I like to reuse the same rounds for the same test, even though it's probably not optimal because they get a little dirty. And that's my bad because I didn't lock the magazine down. Try that again. All right. One of these days, I'm gonna do a bloopers thing. You guys don't even know how much stuff goes on behind the scenes. I mean, you know what? For all the other guys watching here that have YouTube channels, I know you know what I'm talking about because some of the craziest things happen, and as much as it would make for a funny, it doesn't make it educational all the time. So a lot of that stuff gets left out. All right, rifle barrel, HP68s, and first strike mock suppressor, which these have been known to increase feet per second. Let's see if it does. And would it make this more useful? At 346, shoot. The numbers that I was getting on this, I was actually quite surprised. So might have to do a little more digging with those short barrels. All right, there we go, mock suppressor. $370, not too shabby. Hey, oh. There's one of those low ones again. 340. What's our tank pressure at? We're at 1500, so that is obviously a tight round. Yeah, or a malfunction. It's not a malfunction. That round's too tight. Let's face it. See what the other ones do. 360. $348. $350. Last one. $352. I think that was the last one. Yep, it was. What did we learn? Well, I learned that adding a mock suppressor, it really exaggerated the inconsistencies, didn't it? Could have been bottle pressure. Yeah, not that much. That's pretty wild swings. Because of the rifle barrel alone, we only had kind of one swing, whereas this one went up and then way down and in between. So do we want to jam tight rounds in just to have some more efficient rotational effect? I don't think so. I was surprised by this test in this form factor, but I think I want to do some more testing, and I will. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to size rounds, and we'll test it again in an upcoming video, and we'll see, can I make better consistency by bore matching those, or is a 683 rifle you just shouldn't be putting HP68s through. All right, guys, hope you learned something. I did. Thanks for watching.